Hello, everyone out there in podcast world. Hope you're having a great day. You are listening to or watching the Service Business Mastery podcast. I'm your host, Tersh Blissett, and sitting next to me, my co-host virtually, Joshua Crouch. And today we're going to talk about re-engaging our current client list. That's something that a lot of people, I imagine like a bucket, and we're constantly pouring water into it. And in this metaphor, your clients, the water. But we're not paying attention to the fact that we have little holes around the outside of the bucket and the bottom of the bucket. And so as fast as we're bringing in new clients, old clients are seeping out the bottom of the bucket. So we can never get that bucket as full as we want it to be. So today we're going to talk to Noah and Justin with UpFrog, and we're going to talk about that. And really, these guys here are just a wealth of knowledge. We talk to them. Josh talks to him about it on a daily basis, and I talk to him about it every other day basis. But it's anytime I have a question about something that Josh, heck, we have a group chat, so we're all chatting together constantly. But
Facebook Messenger never stops dinging me during the day.
it's a distraction for sure. Before we get started though, Josh, have you ever thought about the fact that humans are more afraid of spiders, even though they have more teeth? Humans have more teeth. And spiders are more afraid of humans getting stepped on by humans, even though they have more legs.
No, I didn't. I don't think about that. I do know that everyone in my house screams when they see a spider, so I have to go. Even the 14-year-old boy, he's like screaming and he's running. He's like, I'm like, dude, just take a napkin, clean it up. No, so I have to literally stop what I'm doing, run upstairs or go outside and take care of it. So apparently that's the new age that we live in.
Yep. Well, you're welcome for that.
But
Are you looking for valuable business advice to reach that 7-figure revenue mark? Do you want actionable tips to properly navigate through every business challenge you encounter along the way? Let Tersh Blissett and Josh Crouch be your guide in getting you to the top here at Service Business Mastery. Tune in as they sit down with world-renowned authors in business, leadership, and personal growth who share valuable insights about management, marketing, pricing, human resources, and so much more. Let their nuggets of wisdom gold guide you in owning a thriving, profitable, and ever-growing business. Here are your hosts, Tersh and Josh.
Damn, Tersh, I know what that feels like now. You just cut me off. Welcome, guys. Welcome back.
Love the intro. And I get jazzed every time I hear the music, right? It's like it's go time.
That's right.
Yeah, love it. It's always a pleasure to be a guest on the show with you guys.
So for those who haven't heard the previous episodes, share a little bit about yourselves. Go ahead.
Not to interject you, but just in case you have not heard that episode might be of interest to some people who are thinking about online pricing, but have not really taken the dive into it, because it's just a topic that gets a lot of it's like politics. It's like 50-50 where it's you're either right or left and right or wrong. Yeah, it's very polarizing. Yeah. So I would definitely check that out if you have not already.
And that's actually listing your prices online and sharing prices and the amount of revenue that can come from that and stuff. So, but guys, if y'all don't mind, share a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
So, UpFrog's our name, right? We are a fairly new company in the space, but not new in the industry, right? So I've been 23 years doing this, I had a father that was a small business owner, right? He started in the unions and was a steam fitter and owned businesses through time. So out of high school, it was, a couple choices. It was college, the trades, or join the military. And I was way too chicken to join the military at the time because we were going to war. So I carried tools. I was a glorified parts carrier. I wasn't even an apprentice, I wouldn't even say. So fast forward, and I worked through just about every position that was out there in the company. Did a retail bid with Home Depot for a while. We managed 14 stores in the Mid-Atlantic region. won some awards, did some cool stuff, and then started to get into technology and how that can be used to benefit ourselves. Because really, honestly, I couldn't find anybody that I could trust in the space. You know, I had wasted tons of money on other marketing companies and things like that, and it was just one of those things I had to learn. So, you know, fast forward to now, we used a online transparent process in our business and grew it for 3 years, then exited. And now we use that technology for small businesses. But it's not just, we're not just a one trick pony. It's not just online pricing. Like, the fundamentals of the business don't change. So I've also got my business partner on the call as well, Noah, and totally opposite end of the spectrum, right? So Noah.
So I came in, you know, younger and, you know, looking, I guess you could say the next generation.
Looking better.
What I like to call myself, right? So I wanted this to be easy to use, okay, for everyone, all right? On the techie side, I wanted this stuff all to be able to relate to not only a contractor who, you know, doesn't have hardly any time in the day to deal with this tech that always makes mistakes, right? So a lot of what I wanted to do was come in and, you know, make a purpose here, all right? So the last job I did didn't really have purpose. So I was looking to not only, you know, grow with people, but to have an impact. And the way we do that is through helping small business grow. And I really, you know, took purpose to that, and the way that simplicity could help small businesses grow rapidly through implementation and understanding, you know, the basics of all this online marketing, where, you know, it's not just yellow pages anymore. So, you know, I like to stick to new and, you know, not the old way where, you know, people are doing business in what I would like to say, not casual conditions. Okay. They're being very pushy about things and not being upfront, where we like to be more transparent, more, you know, involved with the customer as well as the contractor in, you know, combining a relationship. And that's where we'll go with, you know, this conversation we're going to have today.
No, I got a really serious question for you. Have you ever seen a Yellow Pages phone book?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a great question. Have you?
I have.
Like
it was more of a toy in the kids' room.
Was it in a museum?
Was, you know, 10. I saw an encyclopedia too, but never used one.
No, it's wonderful working, you know, as you know, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, right? As you work in an industry for so long, right? You've developed this bias, right? The old saying, we've always done it this way, right? And even myself, I'm tainted by the years of you know, BDR trainings and all these different trainings that are ingrained that this is the way we do it. And it's true, right? This is the way we do it. But sometimes, right, we'll be working through things, and Noah's like, well, why don't we do it this way? Like, this just makes a whole lot more sense. And it just stops me dead in my tracks. And I'm like, well, why don't we?
You know, that's a great point, because I was actually listening to a book. Oh man. And I thought about it whenever I was trying to think of what it was called, and it'll come to me. But the author said that every time you start working on a process, ask why. Like, why are we doing it this way? Is it because we've always done it this way, or is it this is the best way to do it?
Interesting.
And so every single time you do something, say why. And that I added that into our business. And so I said, don't get offended whenever I ask you, why are we doing it this way?
Yeah.
It's because I literally want to know, are we doing it this way because we've always done it this way? Or are we doing it this way because this is the best way to do it? And
look, let's be honest, right? Everybody's lives are busy. You know, there is no harder job in this country right now than running a small business with a bunch of techs on the road. I promise you, I've done quite a few different ones, and it is a challenging job. So it begs the question, do we do it the same way we've always done it because we just don't have time to change? Okay. Or that it's the easiest path, right? Like water finds the easiest resistance, right? So it's just going to, you know, go that direction. So, or we may not even know that there is another way to do it. True. Because we don't have the ability to even open our eyes up above to see what else is out there. Yeah. Right. And
I would say that's where most contractors fit in. They just don't know what they don't know. They buy personally, they buy with their phones and they do all these things, but and they love when businesses reach back out to them, I love it. I see emails and stuff like, oh yeah, I want to do that again. I want to buy that
I took
again.
a 44 question survey today from a company I never did business with. I love their product, right? But I just haven't purchased it yet. But I did a survey for them. That took like 15 minutes of my time to answer it honestly. But it feels like they want to know about me. And just staying close and top of mind, right? What is top of mind here in 2022, right? Like it used to be, contractors had to spend $500,000 to $1 million to be on TV to be top of mind, right? So how do we redesign top of mind? Because look, we have the luxury. We're pretty darn good at what we do, and we have a choice to work with a lot of different contractors that are out there. And I can tell you, our favorite are between $500,000 and $3 million in revenue. That's who we like to work with.
Why is that the case?
Because we can be at most assistants, and it's rewarding for us, because it's like if you can have them see the light or put just some simple things in place, right? That and become almost like an ally, right? It's like a secret weapon behind the scenes to help them. It is just amazing what can happen, right? Because any company that's $500,000 is just a few quick things and quick changes, not necessarily huge financial changes, but just either whether it be systems, the way you approach things, a little bit more organization, and boom, you can be a $3, $4, $5 million company very easily. Okay, in this environment with digital. Okay, and to tell you the truth, the people, I don't know, it with us, and it's really cool. We just get the opportunity to work with these guys, and imagine that group text times 20, 30 people. So now it's like we built this little tribe, if you will, and I love reactivation. That's kind of
so
today.
So let's talk about that. What is reactivation?
Look, I think that there's a lot of different words out there right now floating around, right? You hear outbounding, you hear reactivate, you hear rehash, you hear recovery, right? And like when you look at it as a whole, all right, there's all these different branded words out there, and we got to break it down into a couple different things, right? Like, okay, are we following up on jobs that the tech was at before? Are we trying to generate new business? Okay. Or are we trying to stay top of mind, right? I think we get mixed in this and we think, oh, we got to reactivate. We're all just dialing for dollars. No. There's a lot more to it, right? It can be the most effective, low cost, top of mind advertising that you can do. And in its infancy, I think email was the first start of it. Yeah. And I know, Josh, you guys do a ton of that with clients. And really, get a lot of success off of it with just reactivating emails.
It's just keeping your brand in front of people is what it is. I mean, with that way they don't forget you.
Josh, how much is a good amount of open rate for email?
Open rate's a little harder to track these days. But
it is,
and it's a mix, because we want to try to drive people back to the website. Usually, at least what we're doing, because we do SEO, we want to drive people back to the website. So, open rate, it depends, because if you haven't talked to that customer in a long time, most likely open rate's going to be garbage. But if you just did a job with them, you're top of mind, right? Oh, they just did this thing for me. Now we hit them with maybe a couple emails over the course of the first month. And now, like once a month or twice a month, we're reaching out to them and talking to them, educating them. And all of a sudden, they're used to hearing from us. They're never going to forget your name. Now, the thing you have to remember, don't be like Walmart.com, who's always sending you the 10% coupons, or people hate that stuff. But they do want to hear from you. They want to hear that you value their business. And I think that's what you and Noah and your team have done a really good job of, Justin, is doing it in a way where you're not selling. You're just reaching out and trying to get some feedback. And then the conversation goes from there.
Right on the money, right? So, we have, I'm a data guy, right? Love data. So when it comes to data and reactivation, it's like heaven for me, right? So imagine this space right now. Just about every contractor that's out there has a digital price book, gives a digital estimate to some fashion. So then these CRMs, Service Titan, Sarah, and all of them, House Call Pro, and they all have, tags and attributes that we can add to a customer, right? We need to be taking advantage of that as an industry. Okay. And the reason for that is data segmentation and reactivation is one of the most important things. Now, when we go in and we talk to a client, the very first thing that we do in reactivation is we're going to take the temperature. We're going to go out and ask every single customer through email, through text, how we did. That's the first thing we're going to do, right? We're going to go and ask imagine it's, hey, I'm Josh from Relentless Heating and Air, right? And I'm just trying to, as the owner, I would like to personally reach out to every single person to see how we did. Was the experience good? Was it bad? Any feedback is helpful. So what that's going to do, it's going to take your whole customer base and it's going to segment down the people that are an opportunity, right? So that just gets rid of all the wasted time and things right off the bat. And then when they say they did a great job, you know what we do? The AI sends them a link right to send for a Google review or a Facebook review. So we're taking customer bases and we're getting 7 to 10% of the customer base to leave a positive Google review, sometimes 2-3 years afterwards. It's so powerful. We have to kind of drip it out really slow because we don't want to trigger any funny stuff with Google, right? And lock but I mean, it's that powerful, believe it or not. Like one of our messages is, and I don't have a problem sharing everything we do with everybody that's out there. I don't. There are so many people that are out there that we possibly couldn't help, that I believe that the mission of just helping is more important than our business. So we send out this text message, right? And we're sending it to these customers, and we're talking about reviews and we're talking about how we did, right? And we let them know in the next text message, in the second follow-up, if they don't respond to that, look, we're a small business. We hate writing big checks to Google and Facebook. We get most of our work through our good reviews online. I can tell you that second one, the first one doesn't always get them because they're like, blah, I see this all the time. It's a follow-up text. The second one, it's real personal. It hits them right in the gut, right? And boom, like the reviews go through the roof. So then after they, we know when they leave a review with our software, right? So after that, about 30 minutes later, we send them another one. And we let them know that we've got some special offer, or it's time to schedule your maintenance, or maybe it's just, hey, we've got these new products out here. Come check them out. We haven't heard from you. Now we're getting a schedule rate on those customers that's just insane. But it's how you approach it, right? Like if you just went out and spammed your list, or you just started dialing for dollars, it works at mass, but it's not. Look, I love our customers, and I'm sure you do too, Trash. I've seen your database. I've seen people, right? It's why you do what you do. So, it is, that's how we approach this in 2022. It's not spam anymore, guys.
Well, I love the thought. I love what you said there, because we've always taken this approach where we're very, we have intimate relationships with the clients. And so we've brought on like a sales guy before that had, he was used to going on lots of sales calls and catching one here and there, which is a lot like mass sending out messages to your entire client base, and you'll get one here and there. Whereas if you have that personal relationship with every single client, then you're more likely to convert and build a relationship with that client.
And that's the recovery side.
Yeah.
Right. So like we're getting into so there's reactivation, which I claim is, okay, we're taking your customer base, we're taking the temperature.
We're just getting them to talk to you again.
Generate a response. Exactly, Josh.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get them to say hello, right? Are you human, right? When you talk about recovery, Trash, that's a whole different department, right? In the aspect, and you have to really take a step back. And I want to say this statement. I want you to think about it. All the business owners that are out there. Why do we have to recover what's out there? What does that tell us about our processes that we use right now?
Well, for me, it's almost that you're not memorable throughout the process. If you, And it's very easy for that to be the case, because I had like our septic tank pumped, and I had a great conversation with the gentlemen that were here, and they were good people. And if I have to have it done again, I'm definitely going to use them. The problem is, if you ask me the name of the company right at this moment, I have no idea what the name of the company is. Now Julie knows, and we have the magnet on our refrigerator. So if I needed it, I can get to it. I know where it's at. But with that being said, I don't recall the name of the company, and I know that we're guilty of that. I mean, I hope that people would remember our brand, because it's loud and proud everywhere we go. But at the same time, to think of the exact name of our company, it may not be as memorable as, oh yeah, the guys with the lion on the side of their vans.
So Noah, what's the last big purchase you made? Just to pick his brain, because he's going to have a totally different perspective.
Yeah.
And so Noah, what's the last big purchase that you made?
You could say a computer.
A computer. All right. So with that, what did the process look like? Like, what did you start doing when you were looking for a computer? Where did that start? Did it, what was the first thing you did when you thought about buying a new computer?
All right, and this is why our company's built like this. So YouTube. Obviously, you run to YouTube and you start looking up best computer 2022. All right, something like that. All right, right after you're going to settle on one. You might even click the link to it, little Amazon link in the bottom, to see what it costs. All right. Okay. So I'm realizing nowadays those are cookies we're leaving around on social. Right. Now for me, I'm an Apple guy. So in this case, I didn't quite want to use it, but God honest, that was my last purchase. So just wanted to talk about how it went. So, you kind of shop around, you start looking for the price. All right. So where can I get the best price? That's obviously what everyone's doing nowadays. Inflation, trying to spend the least where we can. So, started looking around. I even, might have looked for a coupon a few times. Can't really find a coupon on, some stuff, right? So you move on and you start looking for who has the fastest shipping. All right. So that was the next thing. I wanted to get it by Thursday. All right. We got somebody starting here, so I needed it. And, that was kind of the path before the purchase. All right. Now, obviously things change where you add it to a cart and, it comes to the door compared to service, but not in some sense, because if I would have just booked an appointment and paid for what I was expecting to pay for and had someone on my way, it wouldn't be any different. And I think that's where the new generation, I wanted to retouch on one thing before. So text, okay, like I'm not going to try to blanket people, but in younger generations, they don't work very well. We can see through automations. We know what automations are. As people get older, sometimes, okay, it's easier for them to think that it's relatable. So that used to work. It really
to fool. Is that what you're saying?
You keep dropping this old person thing. I don't know who you're talking to, man.
Hey, talking to me.
Let's kick this young boy out of here.
The guy with gray
you have to look with a different aspect. Okay, as times change, we like to be where the wind's blowing towards, right? So if it's blowing from saying stop whenever they see automations, we wanted to sound more personable from the beginning. So we don't ever send thanks for joining this chat like most things do. Like Chipotle, you sign up for the rewards, you're going to get a thanks for joining Chipotle rewards. That will not work in service, right? All right. So what I wanted to go away from was sounding more human. Human will work on every single person. They think they're actually talking to someone. That was my point by saying, like, the older generation sometimes was able to fall for it easier, and it would work sometimes in text. And you'd still have people that would say stop instantly. So our idea is to get a better, we'll call it reactivation, right? And the way to do that is to sound more human. Human will work on anyone, okay? It could work on, there's no blanket clause, right? As people get more in tune with automations and text and stuff like that, it's not going to feel as personable. If you're trying to grow your brand and really build a relationship, you have to really think about the way that you talk to someone, how you follow up with them. Like, it's multidimensional once you start a conversation, right? Like there's no real response.
I gotta put my hand up here. Let me ask you a real question right here. So used to, we would think about very, very carefully think about the message that we're sending out to clients, whether it's through text message or email. and you want to be very careful that you didn't have grammatical errors, but then you almost you almost got to where you sounded like a robot. Now, is it better to start putting some errors in
We
here?
do that actually.
Okay.
We put a typo, we put a little grammar here and there, because look, the further we get in this technological space, humans are herd animals. They long for a human communication. And the more we get out, and it's going to continue to be that way for some time, right? So we want to be talked to like a human. Like we want to be, just think about it. The last 2 years, people have been more separated than they ever have been in their life. Technology has been shoved down their throat. I mean, think about how many remote employees are out there. Like, we just want someone to say, "Hey, it's Joe," and I'm just following up,
I'll be honest with you, as an introvert speaking for I could be the national spokesperson for all the introverts. I think, I don't know that I really had a problem with the remote work and not interacting with people.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. But seriously, it's definitely been one of those things where it's like, all right, this world is it's the world of introverts instead of extroverts. I'm going to throw
one more big one out there. Noah, would you rather communicate through messenger, text, or email, or the phone?
Not the phone.
Not the phone.
There you go.
Because I can't communicate with you right now. Like seriously, and this is another thing about social is like, okay, you can't tell I'm on my iPhone right now. All right. I could literally be like involving with something. All right. I could be responding to a customer, that type of thing. Or I could be booking an appointment later today for a haircut. You guys would never know. I can't have a conversation right here. Okay. It's just not going to work. So in the modern times of working from home, like you just said, if you're more, click this link to book it, Calendly. We all have it now. We all hated it at first. We're like, oh, I don't want to be the person with a Calendly. 2018, you're like, man, just call me when you want to book it. All right. It's just ridiculous. Let's go to this website and get it. Right. So that's kind of where people have went. Totally. All right. Follow that path into the consumer. The consumer now wants to respond. It might be human, but they don't even want to call the human. They just want to use that link to book. So when we contact someone, it's kind of a paragraph, right? And that's the only one. It's kind of a, hey, thank you for like what you need. Thank you for what you did. If you need anything, contact me. And then legal stuff, right? When you normally get a text, it's just legal. And you're like, wow, like it's really just a cut and dry process. As soon as you put a price in, you get this text like, God, I don't want that. We wanted to stop that. All right. That's because I'm the person that says instantly, you're not talking to me anymore. All right. Like, I'm a busy guy. I don't want you in here calling me about this car 6 times. Right. So as soon as you send that text, stop. If you said, hey, it's Joe from, the Lexus lot, well, then I'm automatically going to be like, sorry, Joe, I can't get back to you right now. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right. That's all you need. Now, instead of losing a customer and a whole avenue of contact, we have gained them while I was busy, and I'll get back to you at my earliest convenience. So that's the difference in a social, or a reactivation with a different message than it would be for someone cold calling, right? So the cold calling I'd like get annoyed and just not I'd purposely do business with your competitor. Okay. Like, this is a new generation that has spite and hates tech and being bothered. It's just what happens. Like, I know people just like me that act the same way. So I want to be able for them to do it, as well as the people that, don't care and, will talk to someone. So we never said don't call, but we just want to make the first avenue of conversation easily available for everyone. All right. That was the main goal context.
Tresh, to get back on your open rate, 76.6% open rate on our emails.
I thought like 20% was good.
I'm blown away by
it. It's like the average for
it's
all industries type of thing. But if you're
when you send an email that people want, they open it. Yeah. But I'm guilty of this as we grow a business, right? I communicate with our team through text more than email, and it sucks. You know why? Because I'd rather do it that way, but documenting everything is difficult. I like the text channel.
Yeah, that's a great point, because things get lost. That's what I love about Slack and Teams.
Yeah,
because then you can go back and search the conversation. And even with the iPhone now, Josh doesn't really know anything about this because he's an old Android guy, but
I'm an Android guy.
Man.
but iPhones,
still
like
make
you can
those?
right, you can search that, but even the search feature with the iPhone is not amazing, especially
Right.
if you
Android's
have
probably better.
I highly doubt that. So
I think the point I'm saying is we have people open emails like crazy. When people want to do business with us, they don't respond by email. Sorry, guys, it's text. That is 100% the preferred channel that we drive 95% of the business that we do. And now it doesn't mean they're not reading, okay, the text messages or the emails and all that stuff. Like it has its place, right? But
Good one, Casey.
out, man.
Good
I
one.
love it.
Cassie,
But you know,
man,
text
what's up with you guys? It's Cassie.
it's a
I know,
Southern
right?
thing,
It's like,
man.
no, she's
Sorry.
I
right.
yelled at
It's
Tersh the other week about that.
I said
fighting
Casey the
word,
whole
right? If you
show.
text me and if I text you and then you call me back, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna send like a war crime over to you or something. You just don't do that. That's like, yeah, she's
That's the
totally
worst.
right.
That literally is the worst. When you just want like an answer to one question, so you send a text and someone's like calling you,
And
like,
then they
God dang it,
call
man!
you.
Like, just
Gosh,
text me
you
back.
literally did that to me yesterday.
I do it to you sometimes. I do. If it's if I need to explain something, yeah, it's a little different.
You're like,
So-
this is going to be easier to explain over the
I
phone.
want to
Like,
touch
yeah,
base
you're right.
on where this goes, right? Because we're always playing in the future. Like I love taking it to like the nth degree, right? Like that's
Yeah.
you know, how do we take this from a simple, you know, where it used to be, you know, we were in the Home Depot program, right? So we had mountains of leads that came through, right? A lot of them were useless, and a lot of customers we had to chase down, and we had sheets with phone numbers that we printed out and we gave to the CSRs, right? Like it started there, right? 2012, 2013, and we had an office and they were doing outbounding and all that stuff. But okay, so let's look at where the biggest gold is in the business. And so we do all this tech training, we do all this sales training, right? And we stay primarily focused on we got to get them to sell in the house, we got to get them to sell in the house, right? And the thing of it is, okay, maybe it's not the tech or the salesman's fault. Let me say that again. Maybe it's not the salesman or the tech's fault why you have so many unsold estimates in your company. Maybe the consumer has changed. Maybe, just maybe, right, the behavior. Because now these consumers can go on and they can research a part, and yet we're so easy as business owners to say, oh, they're just a part shopper, they're not buying. Well, maybe they just don't trust anybody. Don't take it so personally. So how do we implement that in our business? Now, remember I said about tags and data and estimates, right? So what if you had a system that was your recovery? Because I'm talking recovery, not rehash right now, right? And that system, and there are some softwares that have attempted to do this, but where they limit themselves, and this is how transparency and online pricing is going to come into the world, because I can tell you that the data that we get when a user, okay, comes back and maybe shops that product again, maybe the old invoice that we're sending by email is just not enough. Maybe it needs to be like a landing page or an explanation, because the wife was home and the husband comes home later and she wasn't going to buy the big repair and they have to talk about it. Well, do you think that little invoice that you're sending behind, that your name, logo, and it looks like a damn warehouse, right? And you're expecting customers to buy from that in 2022 when
Very minimum. It's such and this is something that the listeners need to pay close attention to and use it. Whenever I talk to my technicians, my guys in the field, whenever we're talking about the summary, the invoice summary, I always tell them, write that summary as if I'm your lawyer and I'm representing you in court. And this is the only piece of documentation that I can use.
Yeah.
I cannot use anything else. No hearsay, no he said, she said, I told the person this, they said yes or no. I can only use this to represent you. Is that enough information for me to represent you in the court of law? And they're like, oh no, no, absolutely not. I put it internal notes, or I wrote it on this form or that. And so I'm like, always write out all this information, and it takes a little bit longer, and there's some things that they learn how to copy and paste into Notepad or in the
right.
notes and stuff like that. But at the same
right.
time, if you had something like what you're describing to give more detail, more context,
How about
because
this?
yeah,
How about this? Everybody, and here's a great nugget for anybody that's going to be out there. Hopefully, some people are using it. Why aren't we sending a cover letter with each of our estimates? Why aren't we telling the story of our brand in there with it? Look, homeowners get
You're
sometimes
talking
multiple
digital,
quotes.
like
Oh
with the
yeah.
estimate every
Oh yeah.
single time.
Like, we send these PDFs and we expect like, oh, it's so cool. It's digital. It's not handwritten. Well, how about we go a little bit further? How about we tell the story of our company in a little letter signed by our owner of why we're in business? How about we have another page of it that talks about our why we stand behind our work, right? And then at the very bottom, the last page, we start getting into what the work needs to be done to their home. And then even better, give time estimates for how long that work's going to take. Okay, because in a consumer's mind, right, they've got all these estimates
That's a
out there
great
and they've got
point.
emails,
That's
right?
something that never
But,
gets touched.
dude, we need to talk about foreshadowing what the events are going to happen in their house when they press go.
Yep.
What is it going to look like? How long is it going to take?
Paint a picture of the
If you
experience.
think a consumer's going to remember what your tech says every time they're in the home, you are sadly mistaken. Because you just came into their house sometimes on the worst day of their life.
yep,
Right? Like, it is, we deal with consumers when they are oftentimes, they may not show it, but they're frantic, especially in these times. Money is tight, everyone, right? Gas prices are through the roof, right? And they've got, summertime, and they don't know whether they're going to go on their vacation this year because now the money's tight and now the air conditioner just broke. And all we're going to do is leave some prices and some legal shit behind us on the phone in a little thing. And then we're going to follow up. Hey, did you buy from us yet? Did you buy from us? How about let's be humans.
mm-hmm.
Let's do business with human to human, not customers.
Yeah, we all say that we want to build the relationships. We want to humanize the industry.
Forget that we got to follow through with the ball, right? It's not just okay to just show up and diagnose a repair nowadays. Yeah. It's not. So, awesome. that's where our minds are going. Now you take that even further is personalizing each of those that go out in the recovery process based upon what was unsold. The data's there, the connections are there. It can be dynamic. It's so that's where our vision goes is so we've got Reactivate, which is getting your existing customers that maybe you haven't been to in a little while, right? We've got Rehash, which is your sales process. We've got outbounding, which are, we're trying to generate. Maybe you bought a business or acquired a business and you're trying to transition those people where sometimes it does take a phone call, right? To introduce them to you, right? And then you've got recovery, right? Which is all of your service sales and things like that wrapped up into a package that limits the amount of labor burden in the office, but also paints a beautiful picture. And when they sit down on a Saturday to go over the estimates that they got during the week, yours is 6 pages long, has a nice cover letter, maybe has a picture of the owner's family on it, why they're in business. Tell them the why, right? Like, be human. And I think that if businesses can do that and do that at scale and stand out, I think that they will just leapfrog because it's not okay anymore just to have a PDF email of your estimates. It's not.
So tell me this, how do we do that at scale? You said if a business could do that at scale, I'm thinking to myself currently in our process, best case scenario, we have a terms and conditions that goes out.
No, Service Titan can do it, but they used to when we did it. So we were like number 40 on Service Titan back in the beginning. So we had a much different experience than a lot of people have now. It was very intimate. It was with the dev team and working on things. And we had actual estimates that we could send that were dynamic, if you will. We would create a PDF. We would create these values that we would put in there. We'd put a cover letter. We'd put all this together. And I'm sure the technology is still there because it was created a while ago. So you're able to, send a cover letter. And why not just put that in as a sheet in the PDF, a separate one. To send with it. Why not pretty it up a little bit?
Purdy that thing up there, Joe Dirt.
That's right. That's right. We care.
Justin, what do you? So in the same token, we're talking technology today. Yeah. What do you think about having a? Obviously, it wouldn't be personal video, but a video that talks about, it has to be short, right?
Love it.
But
Love
a video
it.
that's similar to what you're talking about.
Stuff
For
that's
people
out there
that don't
that
want
just-
to, they don't want to read, they want to watch something, and you can kind of do like a short brand story video of who you are, why they essentially why you back you back all your stuff. You know, this is our family.
How about
all that kind of
maybe sending some of that stuff out to position the customer before you get there?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you send just the regular generic template, your tech will be arriving at X time in this. You are missing huge opportunities to like position. You got to help your techs. It's not your techs and sales fault. We got to look at ourselves as owners and say, what can we do better to empower our employees to be more successful? Yeah. We have to be doing this stuff. That's our job.
So Chris Hunter, he used to have a business, Hunter Super Techs. He works at Go Time Success Group now. He is a huge fan of this, especially like the tech bios have a 30-second video. Absolutely. Instead of just, hey, you know, Noah's on the way. Here's Noah. This is what Noah cares about. Here's, you know, you get to know the personality and the person that's coming to your house. You feel more comfortable and at ease because like, oh, okay, this is great. You know, he looks like a nice guy or nice gal, has a family, you know, whatever the video says, but it doesn't have to be rocket science. You can do it with your phone today, especially with the cameras inside these things.
The more authentic it is, the more it works.
Yeah, obviously, if you have an iPhone, it's going to be a lot better quality camera.
Yeah.
But
if you're like polished and like the Owen Mills screen and like you're like, you know, portrait and all this stuff, like that's that's not what you want. You want maybe a guy that's, you know.
Okay. All right. So here, let me interrupt you with this one. Make sure he's not standing in front of an air conditioning unit that's running. Because I had all my guys sent me videos of themselves. Like, this has been 2 years ago. I was like, I'm going to do this exact thing. And I was like, all right, everybody, stop what you're doing right now. Take a selfie of yourself video and send it to me. And this guy's like working on an AC unit. And he happened to be at my grandma's house working on her AC unit. Turns around. It's a nice, wonderful train unit we had recently installed. But all you could hear was, whoa, 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 whoa. And I'm like, you're going to have to redo that one. Take a few steps forward. Turn the unit off. It was horrible.
Yeah. But I think that as a business owner, and I've been guilty of this before, was you see your schedule full for the day with all estimates and service calls. And then at the end of the day, they didn't sell. And you call your tech and say, why didn't you sell it? Stop.
Yeah.
Like, what can we do? Like, we're supposed to be this team, this unit, this movement. And you see this with companies that rock it, right? You see this where everybody's working together, right? The owner's making the investments into the company to give the tech and the server and the sales guy the best opportunity. Then they have a follow-up process. They really care. They look at it end to end. And it's not just the time in the home, right? So, you know, that is where, you know, we can go next level. And it's not like you have to make huge investments. This is small stuff, guys. This is more time investment.
So I want to bring this together for everybody because we've talked about a bunch of different things because a lot of times people are like, phone's dead. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And they don't realize that
we're going to raise hell with our marketing agency.
Yeah, that's usually the phone call, right? I mean, it's you know, it's 70 degrees out, phone's not going to ring. And it's not going to ring on Google. Like, it's the way it is. People, they don't necessarily want to see you when it's nice out. But there's so much you can do instead of sitting there on your hands being like, oh, I got to spend more money. I got to run more ads. I got to do this thing. I got to get mailers out. Go into your list.
Yes.
Like, seriously dive deep into that sucker because there is so much value and dollars and feedback and reviews, which gets more customer. I mean, there's so much stuff in that customer list.
You know, and we're on the heels of something that we've been working on for about 6 months now. That's about to come out, and it's going to be a free platform for people to use that within 10 minutes of starting can have you interacting with customers. Right. And that's the goal, right? We know that, and I'm guilty of this myself. So when I speak as small business owners, I speak that myself, right? We wait to the last minute to do a lot of things, right? Like, we have some bad habits when it comes to things. And like, oftentimes we wait too long to reach out for help or we wait too long before it's a big problem. And then it's like, oh my God, I need it now. So that's when the marketing companies get the calls. I need my phone to ring. And they expect like you just to have this magical thing. Well, now marketers do, we do. Within 10 minutes, we can get you on the phone with customers right now. And we know that if we connect a past customer with a business owner or somebody in their staff, that they are going to make the magic happen.
I will add, and because we talked about this offline, and again, there's so many things, and this is the problem. They would look for the next golden ticket, like this big, hairy, audacious thing that's going to save their company.
Yeah.
And as a marketing company, and Justin and Noah, you can probably attest to this, even when you do these reactivation campaigns, the worst thing that can happen is either A, if you get a phone call, you don't answer the phone, or B, you do a reactivation or a recovery type campaign and you don't answer the text messages when they come in.
And
people
that's why
talk to you and you don't freaking answer them.
NLP and AI to assist. We have to. And we have very dedicated hours. We are very honest. Like, look, these are going to be your most successful hours. Can you just dedicate 2 hours a day to this? That's it, right? We know that that's the magic hour, right? So, those are the 2 times when people are really going to be active. So we schedule them appropriately. We use AI. It does not catch everything, right? They will automatically schedule the customers. They will automatically get your reviews. They will do all this stuff, but it's not a fail-safe. It's not, right? It can't, at least ours can't interpret everything that's out there. And it gets smarter and smarter as time goes on. And I think that's the direction of where things are going, but there's a balance between using AI and keeping it human and putting your human touch on it. So we have been testing and testing and testing and testing. And we believe we have a solution that within 10 minutes can start booking calendar.
That's awesome.
And I saw a question come through earlier. How do you track your conversations and keep up with everything, keep it all organized?
Great question.
That was one of the first questions that came through. So with that free platform, whenever a customer will reply, you will be able to obviously record all the conversations. You'll be able to classify them, add tasks later, make notes about the conversation. If he mentioned he wanted to talk about it later with his family, or whenever, schedule a FaceTime maybe to show his wife what the options, what can happen here, what's wrong. There's all kinds of different ways that it can go from there, and that'll all be part of that platform. That's totally for everyone that owns a small business. That's for sure.
Cool, guys. Yeah. Well, we really appreciate it. It's time for us to wrap up. We appreciate your time here. Where's the best way for everybody to reach out to you, learn more about you two guys and UpFrog in general?
Well, don't call me because I'm probably not going to answer. Right. So I'm just going to tell you that right now. So
no, send me a message. I will give you his phone number.
Here's Justin's phone number.
You can go to upfrog.io, and you find our website there. There's going to be a lot of changes coming out here shortly, but, shoot me a message on Messenger, friend me on Facebook. I talk to way more people that I do business with. Let's put it that way. I am all about giving out info because what I've found is that, if I do good things come back to me. And that's just a core principle that I live by. So I give out way more than I take. And if anybody just wants to bounce ideas, I'm happy to do that. So find Noah and I. You can also find us in HVAC Owners Digital Ally Facebook group. We've started a little organization there where we're trying to keep it as clean as possible. Right. If you know what I know, and you know what I mean, that's not like savages in there direct messaging all the time when you make a comment or post. Like, we're trying to create a safe environment, and man, it's tough. It's a
community. Yeah. A community.
There's
people create fake profiles to get in and do all this stuff.
Yeah. So, that's going to be becoming more active, and, so just reach out, Messenger, Facebook, the Facebook group, all those things. And, happy to have a chat,
Cool, guys. We appreciate it. We appreciate everything that y'all do for us.
Thanks, guys.
It's completely mutual.
Appreciate you guys. What you mean there.
We'll see you guys.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Service Business Mastery. Now that you are equipped with essential business advice from this impactful conversation, you are one step closer to becoming the successful owner of your dreams. If this episode has been helpful to your business journey, don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave a rating, and share it with other owners as well. Visit servicebusinessmastery.com to learn more.